Worldwide Sports here. With the NFL preseason now in the books, we're going to take a look at all 32 teams in the NFL and see how they stack up going into the regular season. Today we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. Let's get into it. In the rebuilding phase, the Browns saw a lot of familiar faces leave. They severed ties with Joe Hayden, who left to Pittsburgh. They also saw Mitchell Schwartz leaving free agency to the Chiefs. Their leading receiver from a year ago, Terrell Pryor, who had over 1,000 receiving yards, also left to Washington. But all in all, I love the offseason that the Browns had. And under Brown and other new management, the Browns look like they have a clear direction for the first time in many years. The Browns had one of the best off seasons in my opinion. First off, they addressed their offensive line. The Browns already had holdover Joe Thomas, a perennial Pro Bowler. They signed J.C. Treader away from the Packers, and they also brought in Kevin Keeler from the Cincinnati Bengals. With these pieces, it gives Cleveland one of the better offensive lines in the league after just one offseason. Under Sasha Brown, it looks like the Browns finally have a direction. They clearly had a focus this offseason and executed it beautifully, in my opinion. Now let's take a look back at the draft for the Browns. With the first overall pick in the draft, they selected Myles Garrett, the defensive end out of Texas A&M. Garrett was the consistent number one pick in the draft. With Garrett, they get the best pass rusher in the draft, and they pair him along with Danny Shelton up front, giving the Browns a nice young nucleus to build their front seven around. The Browns bypassed getting a quarterback, and I think that's very smart. I like how they addressed the offensive line and then went defense with their first pick in the draft. With their second of what would be three first-round picks, they selected Jabril Peppers, safety out of Michigan. Now, Peppers is the definition of a versatile player. He lined up at safety, linebacker, running back, and even took snaps out of the Wildcat last year for Michigan. Peppers will mainly be a safety linebacker in the NFL. I like Peppers because he's an unselfish player who does anything for the team. That's something Cleveland needs right now in the rebuilding process, and I think Peppers will play a vital role in that. In the last first round pick, they selected David Njoku, tight end out of Miami. At 20 years old, he's a project for Coach Hugh Jackson. In the second round is where the Browns made their move. They selected Deshaun Kaiser, quarterback out of Notre Dame. I love his attitude and I love his poise. And I think the Browns got their franchise quarterback with this pick. In the third round, they selected Larry Otunable, defensive tackle out of Charlotte. As an athletic freak, at 300 plus pounds, he ran a 4.97 at the combine. Pair him along with Danny Shelton and also Myles Garrett with the first pick. The Browns are just building their football team, in my opinion, the right way up front. In the fourth round, they selected Howard Wilson, the cornerback out of Houston. In the fifth round of the draft, they selected Roderick Johnson, the offensive tackle out of Florida State. Johnson is a nice project, and they hope he can come in and learn under veteran Joe Thomas. In the sixth round, they selected Caleb Brantley, defensive tackle out of Florida. Brantley has pending legal issues. If he's cleared to play, this is a nice value selection. In the seventh round, they selected Zane Gonzalez, place kicker out of Arizona State. For the Browns, they selected Matt Days, running back out of NC State. Last year, the Browns were coming off one of the worst seasons in NFL history. They had a 1-15 record. The Browns obviously aren't going to be a playoff team this year, but I do believe they'll be one of the most improved teams this year. I feel like they'll be a tough out, being very competitive. In the AFC North, they'll have a lot of tough battles, which will help shape them in the future. If I was a Browns fan, I'd be very excited about what I seen this offseason. The Browns have did a nice job of building up their front on both sides of the ball. And the quarterback Kaiser, I like this kid. He's shown his potential in the preseason. The Browns have done a nice job of matching talent on the defensive side of the ball. They added star former Patriot linebacker Jamie Collins, and they still have Danny Shelton. With Myles Garrett, this looks to be a nice nucleus to move forward. Dog Pound, let me know how you guys feel. I know you guys got to be excited of how your team is building. Let me know down below. Comment, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more coming, guys. Worldwide Sports, we out. This has been a Worldwide Sports production.